And we have breaking news. The judge has dismissed some of the charges against former President Trump in the Georgia election interference case. Let's bring in ABC News executive editorial producer John Santucci for more. John, what's the latest?
So, Diane, this is a really interesting ruling from the judge. So, obviously, we are still waiting for his ruling about the efforts to disqualify Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. Now, that is not what this ruling's about. This is about some of the motions that Trump and some of the co-defendants made to remove some of the charges. So, in this ruling that our team is poring over right now, Diane, we've learned that Judge McAfee has dismissed 6 counts of this indictment, most of which has to do with efforts by Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and a few of the other of the 19 defendants, not all, just some, to solicit executives of the Georgia government. So in one example here, count 5, which has been dismissed from this indictment, our team writes that this was an effort for Donald Trump to solicit the Speaker of the House of Georgia to violate his oath of office, to declare a special session, and to appoint alternate electors. Remember, Diane, of course, as we were covering this story as it developed in real time right after the 2020 election, there were efforts by Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani to present alternate slates of electors. Remember, these are the people that certify the votes for each state. Of course, in the state of Georgia, it was certified that Joe Biden won. But what Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani and others, including former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, were trying to do was to present an alternate slate, an alternate team, if you will, that would certify the vote for Donald Trump. And the efforts by Trump, Giuliani, and Meadows were lobbying state officials. Remember the phone calls that were made to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, the governor, others, trying to push them, saying, remember, fellas, I only need 11,000 votes. That was a part of this very broad RICO indictment brought by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. So now that the whole thing goes away, but those are very significant charges that, according to the judge, they're no longer a part of this case as of now, Diane.
So, John, what does this mean for the case against the former president?
So it means we're still going, if you will, right? We haven't learned of any, case that's been dismissed. It means that basically it gets pared down. Because remember, this was a very big indictment. This was over 100 pages that went through the actions of all 19 and other unindicted co-conspirators that were not indicted as part of the case. So what it means is that we're still going, but we're just not as wide of a lens. It's getting a little narrowed. Now, obviously, the question everybody is waiting on is what happens to the DA, because the hearings that we went through over the last several weeks, Diane, were the efforts to remove Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and her deputy Nathan Wade. That is not a part of Judge McAfee's ruling this morning. We do know the judge has said both privately and publicly in a radio interview he gave in just the last couple of days, he is going to stick to his self-imposed deadline of 2 weeks. That could mean right now until Friday, we're in the hot zone for a ruling, Diane.
So, John, what are the next steps here? Well,
the next steps really are going to be, does the DA's office try to bring these 6 charges back? Again, if there's still the DA's office on the case. For the moment, they are. We haven't gotten a ruling there. But do they try to resurrect these 6 charges? Now, they could try one more time. The judge could dismiss it again, and then it's game over. So there is a little bit of wiggle room here. I've spoken to attorneys for Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani that are thrilled about this ruling so far from the judge, that this really impacts both of their clients, really the efforts of Rudy Giuliani's. Remember, Diane, the footage and video we saw of Rudy going down and lobbying state officials, soliciting them to violate their oath of office. This was a big part of these 6 counts that have now been dismissed by the judge, Diane.
And John, an overall part of Donald Trump's team's legal strategies across all his cases have been to delay. So does this affect the timeline of this case?
No, it doesn't. It's a great question. So basically what it does is, think about the best way I compare it, think about almost like you're planning a dinner party, right? You're doing all your main courses, your meals, your everything else. It basically means we took the menu, we cut a couple things off, but we're still cooking. That's how I would compare this to people, right? We're still going to have dinner. It's still going to get served, if you will. It just means the options for the DA's office of what they're going after Donald Trump and the other remaining co-defendants, because remember, we were at 19, 4 have taken cooperation deals as part of their efforts to not face jail time. So for Donald Trump and the remaining defendants, it just means there are less options.
All right, John Santucci making us all hungry. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Diane.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.